So corruption is a word that's been thrown around a lot in the media lately. And by definition, corruption is when you're taking a public office and you're using it for personal gain. And so this is why judges and police officers and politicians can be accused of corruption, but not really bartenders or dentists. And you would expect to see corruption in a monarchy or in a dictatorship. But why is it that in democracies, where we get to choose our own leaders, corruption seems so prevalent? Well, I'd like to answer this question in a story of three hats. I've been digging around in the archives of Switzerland, which is modern Europe's first democracy, for the last couple of years. And what I've discovered is, if you were to travel back to the Middle Ages, to the time of kings and nobility, this concept of corruption would make absolutely no sense to them. Because for them, their personal interest and the state are intertwined. They've inherited lands, and they now govern these lands and make laws, but they also expect to profit from those lands. And the way you do that in Switzerland in particular is by selling mercenary soldiers, which is why our second hat is the mercenary helmet. And if you were to go to one of these nobles and say, "You're selling soldiers, you're profiting from your position," they would say, "Exactly." So this changes in the 15th century. Switzerland develops a system of elections where communities for the first time can choose their own leaders. But what my research has shown is that the leaders they choose are the same nobility that were running the show before, because they see their personal worth and their prestige as making them worthy of the position. And then they think, well, hey, look at Nicholas von Diesbach. He's rich, and if he's our leader, he'll make us all rich. Now imagine their shock and disappointment when, in fact, Nicholas von Diesbach carries on doing what he's always done, looking after his own personal interest as opposed to the people. This is when the very first accusations of corruption appear in modern European history. Now, the payoff for this is that corruption is born at the same moment as democracy. The idea of corruption actually requires a community ethos that says a public position is not meant for your private gain. So take a look at that third hat one more time. Now, many of you will have a visceral and immediate negative reaction to this, and at least think this slogan is ironic. But I want that to change. When you look at that hat, regardless of your political persuasion, if you conjure up notions of corruption, know that that is because you live in a society that values democracy. And in the last year, more people have participated in that democracy than ever before. And that really can make America great again.